Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today, the Season 3 Reloaded update is officially going live in Warzone, and of course, with a major update like this one, we have a ton of patch notes to go over. We've got brand new gameplay changes, we got weapon tuning, map updates, all sorts of stuff. As we break it all down today, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, or if you're a part of that 54% of viewers who have not already subscribed, every single day I got you covered with all things going on in COD. So feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. But that said, let's get into the patch notes. We'll read through the normal page while we're going over the gameplay changes and whatnot. Then once we get to the weapon tuning updates, we'll go to the clean page, which explains the weapon tuning in a way easier way, just in general, with highlighted colors and whatnot. But Season 3 Reloaded launch, we got our playlist updates. We actually have something classified coming to Rebirth on June 20th to 22nd. So I imagine that's the end of Season 3 here. But for this week, we got Battle Royale solos, duos, trios, and quads, Resurgence quads, Clash 50 versus 50, which is phenomenal for leveling up weapons. The new SMG, highly worth, I would say, jumping into Clash and getting that level there because it's just so easy. Then Rebirth Island, we got solos, duos, trios, and quads as well. For modes, we've got Champion of Caldera. We talked about this a little bit before with the reveal yesterday. This is actually solos where the zone is constantly moving in. You drop in with your loadout, a gas mask, and a redeploy extraction token. You also can buy things like advanced UAVs and specialist bonuses from the buy station. And if you get a kill, it refills your health, equipment, and ammo, which is great for aggressive players. For gameplay changes, we've got plenty of these. Each of these gameplay changes can be separated into core 3 areas of focus with an overall emphasis on improved reasons to loot in the mid-game and creating new player stories. So there's going to be more counters, more emphasis on movement, and then more playtime. For counterplay, we've got Serpentine, obviously, which reduces incoming damage if the player is sprinting. We are bringing in this new perk from Vanguard that some of our players may already be familiar with. Our internal playtest highlighted the counter to ranged engagements, especially in large open spaces, while still beneficial in smaller spaces. Serpentine creates a buffer between finding cover and it provides a boon to players that rotate often in their engagements. So this will actually end up reducing incoming damage if you're sprinting. So like one-shot snipers won't be one-shot if you're running this. I think it could be very, very strong if a player knows how to use it correctly, but it's going to be in perk 1, which is obviously somewhat competitive with cold-blooded and EOD on double time. So it'll be interesting to see how this actually affects the meta. New lootable perks, in addition to everything we already have, Serpentine will be lootable, as will Tune-Up, Tracker, Hardline, Kill Chain, and EOD. We got a new field upgrade, the Radar Jammer. This is actually going to block your attack map if a player deploys it and you can't call in streaks in those areas. It has an effective radius of 125 meters. It lasts for 45 seconds. You can drop it on a car, which is going to be a great play, and you can actually hack it with Engineer. We also have loadout drop markers now as ground loot, or chest loot, I should say. It'll be super rare to find, but you can actually get a loadout out of a chest now if you're lucky, which means I probably will never see a loadout out of a chest. For movement, we've got high value loot zones, just like what we had in Operation Monarch. So that'll actually allow you to land in certain areas and get the restock chests, or the resurgence chests, basically, that keep refilling over time. And there will be more promising loot in those areas, obviously making them a little bit hotter in terms of drop spots. We've got the transit system. We talked about this a little bit yesterday as well. These take place in the underground bunkers, and you can go from point to point in various locations. Peak will take you to fields or over to mines. Mines will take you to ruins or up to arsenal. It's not like docks to capital, but you can make your way down from certain areas if you so please. We also have the speed boost power up, just like over in the Clash mode and whatnot, where you can actually get that temporary speed boost if you find that, so that'll be pretty cool. We also have the occupation scan public event in Rebirth, which makes you go prone once it happens, or you're going to show up on the mini map. We talked about that again yesterday, so a little bit of highlights from yesterday's preview. Stim adjustments happening in season. This is a big one that Raven actually talked to us about during a call earlier on this week. The slide modifier has been reduced. Again, this is happening in season, not right now. The slide modifier was simply too extreme. While we believe that sliding movement should be buffed on a player as a stim, it needs to have its limits, so you won't be able to slide as far in the future. Then also added weapon damage received interruption effect. Right now, if you stim and you get shot, your health keeps going up. In the future, once this change happens, if you stim, if you get shot, your health will stop regenerating right then and there. So definitely some, I'd say, some necessary changes for that. For different playtime stuff, making sure you are trying to play the game as much as possible versus spectating, we've got the Gulag entry token. You get one of these when you spawn in. You can also find these over time to get you additional Gulags if you're able to find them. We also have the redeploy extraction token, which actually bypasses the Gulag entirely. If you hold either of these when the Gulag closes, you get compensated in cash. There's going to be more self revives and loot, which is great. This is a big one. player count's going to be adjusted. Raven talked a little bit about this to us as well. It's going to go from 150 to 120. Now you might say, well, now the matches are going to be dead. They're going to be slow. No, not the case. When we have things like the extraction token, the gulag entry token, lobbies are going to stay alive for longer. And in theory, with 120 players, even with that smaller player count, you should still be able to find plenty of players, especially mid-game after the first gulag wave. You know, if players are finding tokens, you should still be okay. You also are going to be able to get increased down movement speed now, which is great. There's going to be a decreased buyback cost. It's going to be 3,000 now instead of 4,000, so easier to get your friends back. And the death tax has been adjusted. Now, if you die, you used to, lose 80%, keep 20%. Now you'll just lose 50% of your money if you die. So again, it's going to be easier to keep your squad mates alive and keep yourself alive. Hence why I think 120 is honestly going to work. Quality of life improvements. We've got a brand new HUD that ends up showing if you can buy a loadout with your money, how many plates you have, if you have a satchel, if you have a mask, a streak, a self-revive, all sorts of stuff like that. Definitely some big changes there that are going to be, small in theory, but big for gameplay, just making things a lot easier. This is a big one. Improved footstep audio. The team has completed a reprioritization pass of NPC footstep audio relative to other crucial gameplay sounds to prevent voice calling of NPC footsteps. So you should be able to hear footsteps better now. Ranged weapon melee damage reduced. It's going to be 4 hits now instead of 3. Pistol require 4 hits on a target with 250 health as well. They also say they've adjusted the slide camera lock, so that's a huge update. Glad that's finally been fixed. They're actually moving the kill streak warning banner down so it's not going to block your reticle or your ADS if you're fighting and a streak gets called in on you, so that's a cool QLL update. Menu browsing interruption. Now you can create a class even if your teammate whose host starts to queue a game, it won't kick you back out to the menu. Buyback players. If you have a dead teammate, it'll prioritize them at the top, so it'll be easier to buy them back. Weapon trade station update. Perk satchels added to epic, legendary, and fire sale trades. Ghost now requires less movement to trigger the perk working, so to stay off the minimap you have to be moving a little bit less than before, so it'll be easier to actually stay off the map for that. For spawn protection value adjustment, players with a visible shield take 25% reduced damage, and then also they adjusted the armored truck a little bit as well, which is definitely worth it with the decreased turret damage. Other adjustments, lethals. Frag was actually buffed a little bit. The throwing knife damage was buffed as well. Hits to the upper torso and head will one-shot down on 300 health. Claymore damage was increased. Prox mine damage was increased, as was Semtex damage as well. This is another big one. Health update increase. We have 300 health in every map now. Rebirth and Caldera, we're going to have 300 health when you have full plates, 150 base health, so flesh kills will take longer to get. Now you'll notice that it'll be just like Caldera has been for the past season or so. Ground loot was adjusted to accommodate new weapons and builds. You'll love to see that. Also, common and uncommon weapons now have more attachments, so they'll be a little bit more powerful. And loadouts have been refreshed in the gulag, which is fantastic. I'm so tired of using the same stuff there. For bug fixes, they fixed the issue that prevented 120 Hz support on console. You love to see it. An issue that caused client crashing with FMJ and dismantle on the same weapon. An issue that would occur when sliding, causing a player to get stuck in the buy station. An issue that would occasionally cause a player adjacent to a wall to get stuck in a buy station. An issue that caused the loadout menu to randomly appear in a match. An issue causing the whale gun to not have the frangible ammo attachment. An issue with the 3-line that caused it to fire slightly to the left, so the centering issue there is fixed. An issue with the Kong finisher not throwing enemies the correct distance. An issue where calling card names were placeholder text. An issue where tracers in the Poison Sky Mastercraft bundle did not appear correctly. An issue that caused some weapon attachments to appear misaligned. An issue with the perks of the job mission. An issue with the Weaver operator to say coming soon. An issue with the Tech 9 that caused the display at the 36 round speed mag during gameplay. It would not show that. An issue where players viewed where it was obstructed when ADSing with the tortured and rescued operator skin. An issue causing flickering when using the heavy weapon drop crates. An issue with several Vanguard melee weapons, and then also an issue that caused the UGR to experience unintended damage when the EOD perk and explosive round magazines were equipped. So several bug fixes on here as well. When it comes to weapons, we got the new H4 Blixen. We'll probably cover this at some point later on today or tomorrow. Then we get into the weapon adjustments, where we'll go over to the clean version of the site and make it easier to understand everything. So for weapons here, if it's in like this orangey red, it's a nerf. If it's in green, it's a buff. So they should be fairly accurate on the clean side. They always have been before. For the Cold War AK, the neck damage multiplier was actually nerfed a bit, and the recoil control on the RPK barrel was also reduced a bit as well. On the AS44, the initial recoil was decreased, the velocity was increased, and now has a functioning on-hand perk, so that makes that a bit more competitive. On the bar, the headshot multiplier was increased. For the 30-06 20-round fast, capacity was increased, Clouser capacity was increased, 30 BMG capacity was increased, and 40 BMG capacity was increased. The fire rate was also also decreased there though, for what it's worth. So the bar just has bigger magazines now. It's honestly a pretty solid update. For the Cooper, the velocity was increased. For the C58, the neck multiplier was actually decreased. On the AMAX, no, they nerfed the AMAX. The max damage, so close range damage, was decreased by 4. The minimum damage was also decreased pretty severely. That's the long range damage. That's a really big nerf for the AMAX there. I'm so sad. The AMAX was the best gun in Caldera, for at least TTK wise. It's not gonna be the best gun in Caldera anymore. That kind of sucks. I guess for 300 health in general on Rebirth as well. The FAR, the minimum damage was also decreased for long range damage, so that nerfs that a bit. On the Nikita AVT, they adjusted the recoil pattern and made the sprint to fire increase a little bit quicker. For the Itra Burst, the headshot multiplier was increased, and then the 303 British rounds, the movement speed scalar was increased, and the damage range was also increased. On the NZ, they adjusted the recoil pattern and intensity when used in fully automatic. It's got a really harsh kick after like 16 bullets or something. For the Orb Weaver barrel, the control is better, the velocity is now better. For the Sakura 50 round mags, the fire rate multiplier was decreased, but the damage and the velocity was increased. For the Clouser mags, velocity was increased, fire rate multiplier was decreased, and the damage was decreased. For the Orb Weaver custom, velocity was increased, damage range was increased. For the burst barrel, velocity was increased, damage range was increased. And then lastly, for the Ravenwood, damage range penalty removed, velocity penalty removed, so that could be a pretty good buff to that. The NZ41 has fallen out of favor when compared to the competition, often due to its challenging recoil pattern. We've adjusted that so it'll be a little bit easier. The Vargo was actually buffed. The minimum damage, long range damage was increased. The headshot multiplier was also increased, so the Vargo is going to be a bit better now. The Volk headshot multiplier was increased, and the neck multiplier was as well. The Reisdorf adjustable, the movement speed was reduced, and also the ADS movement speed was decreased on the Volk in general. For the XM4, some nerfs here. The close range damage was nerfed yet again. The max damage range was decreased by about 2 meters, and the neck damage multiplier was decreased as well. So the XM4 receives yet another nerf. For marksman rifles, the SVT, max damage was increased, so close range and long range damage was increased, and velocity's better. M1916, close range damage was increased, the max damage range was increased, velocity's now better. And for the M1 Grand, headshot damage multiplier was increased, velocity was increased as well. For snipers, the HDR bullet drop-off was been increased, so that's going to be slightly worse at long range. Pellington had a damage range decrease, so that makes it less aggressive and just not as good up close. ZRG, the upper torso damage multiplier was decreased a little bit by 0.2. The combat recon barrel velocity was also decreased a bit, so the ZRG won't be as good at long range now. AX50, the bullet velocity was decreased as well. 3-line, the velocity was increased, bullet drop-off decrease. Bullet drop-off decrease, I believe might actually be a buff now that I think about it. We'll have to say their wording is so weird, so we'll have to see in game. Sprint to fire scale was increased, realigned the 3-line reticles as well. Custom barrel, better velocity. Empress barrel, better velocity. Other Empress barrel, 700mm, better velocity. Whatever this word is, 700mm barrel, better velocity, neck damage, both buffs there. For the 820 barrel, better velocity. For the 30-620, better velocity. For the British 5, better damage range, and damage penalty has been removed. The Dragunov got a buff. What? It's still gonna suck. I'm just gonna tell you that now. Max damage range was increased, but it's still bad. Don't use the Dragunov. Rytech, now one-shots to the head within the max damage range. Max damage range increased to 125, up from 102. Max damage range was decreased here as well. Headshot multiplier was increased. Neck damage multiplier was decreased. For the AIM-82, now one-shots to the head within that certain range. Max damage was increased. Headshot damage multiplier increased. Neck damage multiplier decreased. Type 99, the 5mm 8 rounds, damage range increased. Clouser 5 round, velocity scalar increased. Sakura 776 barrel, velocity increased. And then for the Shirashi sniper, upper torso damage multiplier decreased. Gorenko, bullet drop off decreased. The Empress barrel, velocity was increased, and the ADS time scalar was increased a bit. Riftor stock, ADS time scalar was increased, and the 10 round mags ADS time scalar was increased. For the car, they added the frenzy weapon perk. This is the Vanguard car for what it's worth. Max damage range was increased. On the telescopic scope, the ADS was increased. On the Rio 2K, damage range now increased by 20%. Then on the Clouser 3-round mag, ADS time scalar increased. And on the padded stock, I believe, ADS time scalar increased and movement scale increased as well. Shotguns also got some changes here. They decreased the damage by 20% for the following shotguns: Street Sweeper, Gallo, Jack 12, Origin, R90 Graciato, so those will be less powerful than before. The combat shotgun from Vanguard, movement speed scale increased, ADS move speed scale increased. The precision, better velocity, better damage range. For the Framble, better velocity. Chariot short, damage range penalty increased. Sawed off, damage bonus increased, and move speed scalar increased. For SMGs, the Milano, now has a worse max damage range, mid damage added at 33, the mid damage range added at 17 meters, and min damage was decreased for long range by 3. For the Lappa, the max damage was decreased, so close range damage was decreased. That's now going to hurt that up close. Max damage range was increased though. Mid damage was decreased, and min damage. So buffs to the range, but nerfs to the actual damage here. That's going to hurt the Lappa quite a bit. OTS, the close range damage was decreased by 1. The Armaguerra, slight reduction to its initial recoil. The body barrel, vertical recoil multiplier was decreased, and the 30 Russian short mags damage penalty decreased, and visual recoil decreased. The Owen gun, upper extremity damage multiplier decreased a little bit there. Lower extremity damage multiplier decreased. Max damage range decreased. Min damage range decreased, or mid damage range decreased, sorry. So some nerfs to the general weapon there. The Granco 33 round mags, the fire rate was decreased. For these 72 round drums, which is what a lot of players are using right now, the fire rate was decreased. To me, this makes it seem like the no barrel recoil booster and 60 round mag is probably going to be the better build in general now there. The MW AUG got a nerf. For the 30 round mags, the NATO rounds, max damage was decreased for range, mid damage was decreased, and mid damage range was also decreased as well. So quite a few nerfs there. Then for the 60, essentially the same things as well. For Wellgun, they actually added the frangible weapon perk into the Gawan short barrel. The fire rate was decreased, and they removed the damage range penalty, so that's still going to be pretty solid. On the UGR, they actually increased the magazine capacity, so that now makes that a little bit better. We could actually end up seeing that potentially make its way into the meta. For pistols, yes, we still have more fixes here, so we're getting close to the end, but we still got some more updates for the pistols. 1911 from Vanguard, the ACP round capacity was increased, the min damage was increased. Clouser, max damage increased, so damage increases all around, just general damage buffs. Rat, general damage buffs as well. Diamati got a max damage decrease and a mid damage decrease, so close range and medium range. The machine pistol from Vanguard, buffs all around, significant reduction to the base recoil. Garanko 40, worse fire rate multiplier, worse control. Nambu 20, worse control, worse fire rate multiplier. Rapid barrel, worse fire rate multiplier as well. For launchers, the Panzerfaust got an adjustment, the ADS transition speed was adjusted, the base movement scale was adjusted, and the ADS movement scale was adjusted as well. For attachments here, the Akimbo perk now reduces damage by 10% for pistols. The MX silencer in general increases velocity, so that's solid, and the F8 stabilizer increases the damage range. So that's all the weapon changes there. Quite a few, and definitely some meta shakeups. That said, the STG did not get a change here, and it's still the best gun in the game. And then briefly moving down to the end of the patch notes here, they actually adjusted the rose skin. They've made it 70% brighter essentially, so it'll be way easier to see the rose skin in game now. Then finally, for the update sizes, on PlayStation 5.2 gigs, on Xbox 5.4 gigs, on PC 5.7 if you just own Warzone, 6.6 with Warzone and Modern Warfare. And that concludes all the patch notes for the mid-season update. A huge update in terms of fixes, updates, weapon tuning, everything like that. That's gonna wrap things up for today though. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here, or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD. So feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.